Hey kids! Hey kids, how's everybody out there in YouTube land today? So this morning I decided to do my Good Morning World video as a to-do list. I've had a couple of my viewers ask to find out what all are the jobs that I need to get done, and so let's just dive in from there. So a couple of things that I've gotten done already. I've got my rod rack up and installed. It's all in place. I cut the companionway door and I got that done. But while we're down below, let me just touch base with some of the things I need to do down here. Wiring. Down there in that switch. I've got to work on the wiring for the mast lights. My running lights and mast lights are not working. I've got power to the panel, but for some reason that panel is not conveying that power out to the mast. Now I know the wiring in the mast is good because I double checked that before we put the mast up, but that's something I have to work on. Other major project, autopilot. I've got to reconfigure and do some rewiring in the autopilot. So, hey Danny, good morning ma'am. So that's another thing that I need to get done from a wiring standpoint. Let me just check in here real quick. Oh, okay. The other thing I want to do is I want to use my iPad as a for navigation, for navionics. I'd like to have some sort of a mount that can sit up like right here, that I can swing this out so I can see it from the cockpit, or swing it in so I could have it in here. I actually kind of put this one mount for my GoPro there. You can see I've got my other GoPro now mounted over here so I can film multi angles. I mounted one here so I could film me down in the cockpit, but also film the cooking area. So I've got to work on that. I need to buy this mount. That's about the only thing I don't have bought so far, is that mount. And I'm going to have to go into New York City to do that, I think, to find the right one. I think I'm going to go to B&H Camera in New York City and find that. So one of these days, Doug and I, or me and somebody will go in the city and do that. So, all right. So I got the rod rack up. I got the companionway door cut. I got the cables, the halyards on the mast shortened. Those jobs I've gotten done so far. I've got to do on the engine. I've got to do another oil change. I got to clean out the air intake on the engine and change the fuel filter. So I've got one day of engine work ahead of me. And now let me go up and let me put this up someplace safe. I don't want to ruin my brand new VHF. So hold on a second, guys. Let me put you down here for a second. I'm charging the battery for my new VHF. I didn't want to destroy it by coming down the stairs and stepping on it. So, all right, let's go topsides. Move, dog. All right, here we are coming up on deck. Let me shut the generator down. Whew, that way you guys can hear me. All right, so this is one of the pieces that was damaged when the old push pit was removed. You can see that right there, and you can see where that is not properly mounted. Let me demonstrate this to you. That's supposed to be tight, not wiggling around like that. You can see here, underneath here, this has all gotten cracked and busted up. So this all needs to be fixed right in there. And when they mounted the push pit on the back of the boat, they didn't mount it correctly. And I don't know what happened to the push pit back here. Something had broken it while the previous owner owned it. It broke a weld and it ripped up through the floor like that. So I have to get access to that. So what I'm doing is I'm going to cut a hole. I'm going to cut a hole like right there, and then use this plate to cover it. But I'm going to cut an access hole like right there so that I can get access to the underside of that, so I can put some plywood backing in behind that and give it some proper strength. Now I have to do that on that side of the boat. I need to put one hole there and then one hole behind the propane tank so I can access the other mount spot back there for the push pit. And then I have to do the same thing on the other side because this arm of the push pit isn't welded in correctly. This is a pretty major job needing to be done right there. And then once I get that done, up in the bow, I've got another spot where the guy sustained some damage in the front. One of the fittings was popped out. So that's got to be fixed, patched, and repaired up there as well. And then there's a crack in the side of the hull, back to back with where the head is. A crack about 3 inches long, about 2 inches high, L-shaped crack. And that needs to be ground out, fiberglass, and repatched. So that's going to be a bit of a major job too. So I still have quite a few major jobs to be getting done. Mostly what I've been doing here is I've been trying to get, you know, funds organized and get materials ordered and get stuff here, get the repair parts all bought. And I believe I pretty much have all that. So I'm also finishing the painting on the companionway door. Lily, get. Come on, Kennel. Get. You can see here's my new companionway door. I've got it all primed. I need to sand it and finish painting it so I can replace my my companionway door and have that fixed. And that's it. Those are the jobs that I need to get done. But you know, I'm still going to be and doing that and trying to work on my YouTube channel. Wow, they anchored really closely to me, huh? New catamaran came in last night and anchored. They got really close to me. I'm kind of surprised. This whole big huge bay out here and they come and anchor right next to me. Go figure, huh? And in fact, they're actually anchored on a wreck. On the charts, there's a wreck right there. So they may have fouled their anchor. Oh well. Not my boat. This is my boat. Yes, that's right. I said my boat. So anyhow, so those are the jobs that I have so far. And then of course, I'm also trying to sand and refinish all my bright work. I have woodwork around the companionway here on the Traveler, the rails up on top for the companionway cover, and then the handholds down the sides. All of that needs to be varnished. Now, I'm not going to necessarily decide to stay here waiting to varnish all of that. That's something I could be doing much later on, but I do need to get the push pit finished, get the fiberglass repair work done, get the patch up there on the side of the head, and I've got to get all this stuff completed before I leave here. Before I go sailing, all of these jobs have to be done. And so you know what, let me go back down below so I can see the chat. It is so bright up here, I cannot see my phone at all, so I can't respond to anybody just because it's way too bright. So hold on a second. There we go. And I just knocked my drink over. Great. Hold on. Just dumped it, a whole brand new drink over. Well, shit happens. There we go. Sorry, dog, your cushion's all wet. Oh, boats are so much fun, guys. Boats are so much fun. Yep, get over there. She'll get over there and eat the ice. Let me grab another one. Right into my shoe, too. Oh, wasn't that so much fun? Yes, dumped all that ice and popped right into where the dog sleeps and into my shoe. So, sorry about that. Let me spin you guys around, position you so I can see you. Okay. With that done, let me go back and see what was going on in the chat. Sorry about all that, folks. Big spill here on the boat. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Danny. Hey, Billy, good morning. How was Billy this morning, huh? Hey, Pilot, how you doing, man? Hey, No Plastic. Hey, Kelly, what's up? Good morning. Make sure you use backing plates. Yeah, Tuffy, I'm actually going to cut some 3/4 inch plywood and put some plywood behind that. And that would have stopped that from ripping out. You can see that the old bolts were there. They just broke up through the fiberglass. Of course, the fiberglass was already stressed in that location from where that, what do you call it? You know, from where the cleat was. Apparently that cleat had been yanked, and so that's weakened that corner right there. So I need to pull that cleat as well and get that whole thing rebacked and redone. So get a small person to get into the locker to access areas. No, Tuffy, I bought these access panels. I'm just going to cut the holes in the access panels in. That's a more permanent fix. So you need a shave. Yeah, I'm letting it grow back, Billy. I'm letting it grow back. So. Hey Mark, good morning. Tell me if they get too close, you'll have to switch boats with them. Wouldn't that be nice, huh? How's that crack that happened in Yonkers? Well, that's one of the cracks I was talking about that needs to be fixed. It's the crack up here by the head. And that's going to be a difficult one to do, actually. I'm going to try to get it all sanded and prepped somewhat, but I'm going to have to pull up to a dock. You know, I can't stand on water, so I'm going to have to pull up to a dock in order to access that side of my boat and get that done. So that's going to be logistically something I have to work on. So, morning, Mark. What size hole saw you need? See, Lee, I'm not using a hole saw. I've decided I'm just going to try to cut it with my jig. It won't be nearly as clean, but I'll get it that way. So, I thought you were playing Friday the game. No, I don't play games. So, I don't have time to play games. Who has time for games? Life's hard enough as it is without wasting time with games. But, I guess I shouldn't say that to someone with gaming right in their name, so it is what it is. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back there and I guess I got to clean up that mess I just made, so. No, I already have enough grandkids. Thank you. Did you figure out the hydrophone? No, not yet. In fact, I'm going to retest it here right after this live stream. I'll buy you a hole saw. Yeah, see, Lee, I appreciate that, but hole saw for 22 bucks. Huh. That's pretty cheap. That's a whole lot cheaper than any of the ones that I saw. But no, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it with the jigsaw. I appreciate that, but I think the hole saw would give me a nice cleaner hole, but with the jigsaw, the problem with the jigsaw is I have to get really close down by the seat. And so as you're cutting around the bottom, you have to constantly be turning the jigsaw. And where I'm coming down low, and I'll bottom out against the seat, and I won't be able to make the turn. So what I can do though is I take the jigsaw at the top and cut around this way, start back at the top and cut around that way and make my hole. So just a little bit more difficult, but it's easier to do it that way. So, yeah, I know a hole saw would make a nice cleaner hole. But then, you know, what am I going to do? Then I have this big 6-inch hole saw on the boat, and it's one more tool that I probably am not going to have much use for down the road. So, when you have a little tiny boat like I have, you really have to be conscious about bringing anything new onto the boat. So, I can be very careful and do it with my jigsaw, so that's just what it's going to go. Give it away. I could do that, yeah. Drill the pattern out first. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Billy. That's not a bad idea. What I planned on doing, and you guys will see it, I'm going to use what you got or run what you brung. There you go, 42. I kind of agree with that. I'm going to take some blue tape, you know, painter's tape, and tape over the area to help contain dust, and then I'm going to place the lid, the actual lid of the thing on, and trace that, because the lid is exactly the same size as is the, you know, the sheet, I don't know what you would call it, the, you know, the outside part, the ring. It's the exact same diameter as the hole that needs to go through. So I'll use that, trace it, cut that out. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the parts on and put some 5200 on it to hold it permanently and run some screws in to keep it secure to the fiberglass. But what that's going to do, guys, that's going to give me permanent access to those two back corners of the boat. So later on, as I add stuff, like I'd like to add a freshwater shower back there. Oh, that's another thing on my list of things to do. I have to get the water system working. So there's another job I need to get done. I guess I didn't have that on my list, or maybe I did and I just didn't move it, but water system, there we go. So I want to put a shower in the back, and that'd make that, facilitate doing that a lot easier. There's a through hull in the back that doesn't seem to be connected to anything. There's a large one which goes to my manual bilge pump, and then there's a smaller one that just doesn't seem to be connected to anything. So I want to kind of look, get a look at that from the behind, you know, from the inside. But, you know, I'm not sure what that's to, but, you know, there's a through hull out the back of the boat. It should be connected to something. So, I must be a crooked person because I can't cut drill straight to save my life. Yeah, well, you know, I've used a jig. Anybody my offer's open. Well, thank you, Celia. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. But and the other thing is, Celia, I just it's taken so long to get these covers here. I mean, these are the covers I've been waiting for, and it just took so long to one, have the money to order them, and then to be able to get them here. I just want to hurry up and get these jobs done, you know. I've got a whole lot of people clamoring, all upset and have their panties in a snot because I'm not going sailing yet, but you know, these are the access panels I'm putting in, and I'm going to trace the lid, this part, because this is exactly the dimension that I need for this ring to, see, that just fits that perfectly, for this ring to be recessed down into the fiberglass. And then I'll put 5200 on the back of this, set this in, and then put screws around to hold this ring in tight. But this will make a nice removable, you know, you simply have this plate that you put in and you turn, and it's sealed. It's got a gasket on it, so it's watertight. It's got a gasket around it, and it makes for a nice access panel, so I'll be able to get to those back corners of the boat anytime I want them. So I've got a Raycor pressure regulated pump. I'll send new in the box. Pressure regulated pump. Oh, okay. A Raycor pressure. Yeah, man. Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you would do that, that would be awesome. Celie, I don't know if I have your email address. Could you email me at alaskacarl@gmail.com? alaskacarl with a C @gmail.com. And I will give you Doug's address to ship that to. That would be awesome, because then I could set up a shower in the back, which would be, you know, pretty cool. That way, one of the things, you know, that I do every morning, I go, twice a day actually, I go for a swim, my morning and evening exercise program. I jump in and I swim around the boat, and every day I'm swimming a little bit further, trying to build up my shoulders again. And so I'm, you know, getting some exercise. Swimming is awesome exercise, especially for obese people like myself. So, you know, yeah, when I come back up the ladder, the first thing I need to do is take a little fresh water and wash the salt off. So that would be awesome, man. Nice to have O-rings for water tightness. Yes. Need to get it ready before you go sailing. Celie, you know, that's exactly right. I've had a lot of people, you know, in the comments complaining about, oh, well, I've been watching your channel because I want to learn about sailing and stuff. Well, you know, this is all part of sailing. If you think sailing is just pulling the sheets up and letting the wind blow you around, that's not what this is all about. That's not what my channel has always been about. This is about a guy with very little money, none, actually, to be honest with you. I already spent all the money I had, and so I'm just living vicariously now. Well, not vicariously, I'm living by wit and by grit just off my YouTube earnings. So, you know, for those people that are complaining about me not sailing, well, you know, there's a lot of stuff that has to be done before I go sailing. When I'm sailing, okay, when I'm motoring, the boat is pretty much like this. Now, it may forward and back a little bit. It may rock with someone's wake or something, but it's pretty much just this motion, okay? So for me and the dog, it's easy to get around the boat. We can walk around on here. When we're sailing, we're going to be at this angle, because that's what the sailboats do. They lean over with the wind, the mast to be sticking up here. And so it's going to be a lot more dangerous for me and the dog to be walking around the boat like this. So I need to make sure my lifelines, which are around the sides of the boat, are up tight and secure. I can't do that until I get the push pit fixed and get it remounted. I get the push pits fixed and remounted. I can then put the lifelines back up, make sure they're tight, and then I can put the netting, you see right here on my shoulder, the netting, I can put the netting up down both sides of the boat, making the boat secure. So for those guys that are whining about the fact that I'm not sailing yet, guys, I am basically doing an in-the-water refit right now, trying to get a bunch of projects done that have to get done before I go sailing. So if you don't like my channel because I'm not sailing every minute of the day, well then, you know, that's just too bad, but that's not the reality of living on a sailboat. Okay, let me see what I missed in some of the chat here. But thank you for mentioning that. So, Carl with a K. No, Carl with a C. Carl with a C. Any way to check for wiring or anything else before you cut so you don't hit anything important? Yeah, pilot, actually there's nothing back there. From here, from where I'm sitting, I can actually look all the way back there. I just can't reach all the way back there. There's a bulkhead that ends at the back of this area right here, and I can't get back past that into the other area. And where it is, I'd have to get down into the lazarette, which I'm not going to fit into. It's only, you know, so wide, and it's only so wide, and I'm, you know, way wide. I have to get down in it to be able to reach up into the cavity. So I can see it from here. I just can't reach it from here. So these access panels will be able to let me have access so I can reach it. So there is no wiring back there, or there should not be any wiring back there that I should have to worry about. So I should be okay in that regard. Go back to the chat. Everyone's saying hello to everybody. A lot of DIY involved with sailing. Everything breaks and needs to be fixed sometimes. These things are very important. Yes, they are. Is this a replay? No, Steve, this is me live. I need to rig jack lines. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Dude, why aren't you sailing yet? Yeah, right. Well, yeah, I would say those lifelines are pretty important. Yes, Carolyn, they're absolutely critical, especially for Miss Lily. I need to get the lifelines and the netting up to keep the dog on the boat. So, hey, Kelly Banks, what's up? Billy. Hey, Steve. What did the dung beetle say when he walked into the bar? I have no idea. Okay. Morning. Okay, email sent. Thank you, sir. Morning to all, and all a good morning. There you go, Don. How are you this morning? So anyhow, guys, just let me recap my list here, because some of the ladies, actually it was ladies, surprisingly, and I think one of the guys wanted to know my jobs. So I got the rod rack up, I've got the cable shortened, I got the companionway door cut. We got those projects done. I've got the panels here now so that I can cut the holes and access the push pit, so I can get the push pit unbolted, get it over to Doug's. He and I are going to weld it, and then we're going to bring it back, but I need to rebed the fiberglass and put some blocking up underneath there to resupport that. I do need to buy the bolts for that. I'm going to have to put longer bolts on the push pit. So I'm going to have to buy 3, 6, 9, 12. I need to buy 12 longer bolts. Stainless steel bolts. I have some other bolts, but they're way too big. They're just way too big, so I need some smaller bolts. So I got to fix the holes where the companionway do and get that fiberglass work done. I have a hole up in the bow that needs to be fixed, and I have a crack in the side that needs to be fixed. Got to do the oil change, fuel filter, and air cleaner clean out on the motor, on the diesel, and got to work on the water system. I need to mount a swing mount for my iPad so I can use it for navionics. Right now, I'm just using my cell phone for navionics, and it's small. It's very, very small. So, and I would not be able to see it at any distance, whereas the iPad I'd be able to see from a bit of a distance. And let's see, what else is that? I got to finish painting the companionway door and finish painting the head. Um, Anyhow, so that's it. Those are all the jobs that I have to do. I have to work on the wiring for the mast lights and the running wiring. And then it's just some cleaning and stuff. So those are my jobs that I have to get done. And a few of those are absolutely critical before I go sailing. So just got to get done. So you just can't go sailing. I knew that when I left. I knew that when I left Sandusky, that this all needs to be taken care of, and now it will. So you've traveled pretty far since you were up here in Albany. Yes, I have, Christine. I've traveled pretty far since I was in Sandusky, Ohio. 800 miles at this point. I'm right about 800 miles. So you have a good UHF radio on the boat, not a handheld. How about depth finder and fish finder? The reason I asked, I've got these things I can send you. Actually, Sealy Shannon, my fish finder crapped out on me. I have a Pelco, A-P-E-L-C-O fish finder. And when I was coming under one of the bridges in New York City, I got hit with a little microburst, big rainstorm. And apparently, my supposedly waterproof, watertight fish finder was not. And so now it's crapped out on me. It's just really a depth sounder. That's all I really use it for, is just to monitor the depth of the water. And I do need to replace that. So yes, thanks for reminding me of that. That's something I need to figure it out. I was looking at the Garmin units. I'd love to get a Garmin unit because I could use Active Captain software with that. But that is something that I need to do. Other than that, yeah, I've got both a good mounted VHF, and I just got a new replacement handheld VHF. So I have those, but I do have to replace my fish finder. That's not a, you know, super critical thing that has to be done before I can sail, but certainly before I get going too far, because as I come into new anchorages, I need to make sure the water's deep enough. So haul out and bottom inspection. No, I'm not worried too much about my bottom. It's in pretty good shape. So the antenna and the mounts are all fine. Were you at NKW? No idea what that is. For us who stop in occasionally, only you talk about work. Many hoping to get motivation on the work you need to go do to sail. Yeah, Cleota, we're making progress. The big heat wave that we had pretty much passed now, so we're making progress now. I've got a hummingbird I'll send you, UHF radio. Huh, UHF, I mean VHF. Yeah, I don't need a VHF. I have a good Standard Horizon mounted VHF radio, and I've got my handheld. I don't need a VHF radio. But I appreciate that. I have a bunch of items too I'm going to send. I have underwear, socks, food, and some magazines I'm sending to Grandpa. Okay. Huh. Yeah, okay. I don't know that I need any of those things, but but yeah, underwear, huh? That's a little TMI, but okay. Actually, I'll tell a funny story on you guys. Sorting through and digging through the boat yesterday, trying to find all of my mounts for my GoPro, you know, so I could get the camera up on the wall like I have over there now. I came across a brand new unopened package of underwear. And I was like, oh, cool, more underwear. I needed those. So I opened them up, and I decided to go ahead and put on a pair, and so I did. They're size 6XL. So they are like super, super baggy now. In fact, I had to dig through, one of the reasons I had to dig through my clothes is to find clothes that fit me. All of my my camouflage sweatpants and all the stuff that I've been wearing for years are all of a sudden super baggy on me, and I'm having trouble keeping them up. So I had to find my old shorts and stuff. So I'm actually down one size. I'm down into 4XL now. I was 5XL. I'm down 4XL. And even the 4XLs are a little small on me. But so now I've got like 6 new pairs of pants that fit me, and a bunch of shorts that fit me, 2 swimsuits that fit me. I haven't been able to wear any of these things for a long time. But now apparently I have a package of 3 pair of underwear that are size 6XL. And so needless to say, guys, they don't offer a whole lot of support. they're kind of baggy and comfortable to sit in here on the boat, but they're not offering much in the way of support. So I thought that was funny today. I put it on, I'm like, man, these things are huge. Well, sure enough, yeah, they're 6XL. Apparently they shipped me the wrong size package. I forgot I had them, and I left them back there in a box. So I don't know why. It's not like I ever thought I was going to get up to that size that I would need them, but I guess I can use them as boat rags or something else here on the boat. I'm sure I'll have good use for them. So I just thought you guys might think that was funny. Okay, still pretty cool either way. Okay. So anyhow, kids, that's my morning list, and that's my video list of jobs that I have to do. So the job today, what I'm going to work on today is cutting these holes out just on the one side for right now. I'm only worried about getting the 2 holes out here on the starboard side push pit. I got to pull the grill off of that. I got to pull my rod holder off of that. Take the lower lifeline down, and which sucks because with my push pit disassembled, I can't use my charcoal grill, so I can't cook out on the grill right now once I disassemble that. So keep it up, won't be able to call me lardass anymore. No, Billy, it's getting diminutive. So oh, have fun, gotta go myself. All right, man, take care. Morning, Coyote, how you doing, man? Oh, that's all right, Billy, he's fine. No, anyhow, I got to unbolt that, and then my grill's going to be down, and my rod holder is going to be down, so the lily net's going to have to come down. For those of you that don't know, I keep a net on the rod holder out here on the back of the boat in case a dog falls off the boat, so I can scoop her back up and get her back on board. But anyhow, I'm going to get that disassembled. We're taking that over to Douglas's tomorrow, Saturday, and hopefully Doug and I will be able to weld that up tomorrow. And then I'll be able to reinstall it on Monday, because Sunday I'm going to go spend the day with my sisters and nephews and stuff, visiting family. So I have a very social weekend coming up this weekend. I'm going to be visiting with a lot of family and friends. So let me see what I missed in the chat. Okay, funny, yeah. Morning, Captain. Hey, how you doing, Coyote? Been following, just been busy. No problem, Mama Street. How you doing? Hey, Mary. Anything else? I'm giving away all my boat stuff. Getting ready to come south. Too much stuff. Huh. Well, I could use a depth finder, fish finder, depth finder kind of thing. I really could use something like that to replace the one I have. Hopefully it'll match up with my existing transducer. Should. Those are fairly universal, but may have to do a little wiring change. But I need one of those. Other than that, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty much have all the things I need for all the work I'm going to be doing right now, you know, sometime later on. A 12-volt windlass? Oh, hell yes, Sealy. I could really use a 12-volt windlass. I would love to mount a windlass up on the bow. Right now, I'm having to, you know, just pull the anchor up by hand, especially since tomorrow I'm picking up my new 33-pound Rockna, and I'm going to be adding some more chain to that. So, yeah, a windlass would be awesome if you have a windlass. What size chain do you have? I have not a clue. I have not a clue. But don't worry about it. Right now, I've only got 20 feet of chain on some road, and I was actually thinking about moving that onto my backup anchor, and then trying to buy 50 feet of chain that I could mount onto the Rockna. But if you've got a windlass, yeah, if you have a windlass, I'll buy the chain to match the windlass. I mean, that's kind of the way I feel about it, because the windlass would be very, very expensive. The chain, not so much. So, and my chain that I have is just some used chain that I bought to go with this anchor temporarily, but I only have 20 feet of it, so it's not like it's a big deal. Mostly I'm working with road. So if you have a windlass, I would buy the chain to match whatever windlass you have. That would not be a problem. So cool. Yeah, that would really be cool. So, all right. Well, anyhow, guys, that's what we're doing today. I just wanted to get on here quickly and give you guys an update of all the jobs that I'm working on. Okay, I'll go pull it. It's on an ocean boat, and it's good. Oh, man, that would be awesome, man. That would be awesome. Yep. Yep, I'd have to reinforce up there on the bow a little bit, but that's fine. I can do all that. I've got the plywood backing plate and stuff for it. Glass that in. That would be awesome. I'd have to buy some wires and run some cabling up there for it, but I can do that. I can do that. That's not that hard to do. Yeah, that would really be cool. An electric windlass up on the bow, that would be awesome. Yeah, I got that, Ocean. I thought so. Yeah, cool. Cool. Anyhow, kids, that's it for this morning. Let me go ahead and get working on my jobs. I'm going to be filming me cutting these holes in the deck, so you guys will be able to see what that's like. I have another video coming out. I had 5 videos that came out yesterday. 2 live streams and 3 regular videos. I did the infomercial for Wide Water. I did a rivet in the rigging video, which has been uploaded to my PayPal or my Patreon folks. They have that. They're watching it now. It'll be out for the general public here in a few days. Yeah, Mark, Wax Violet, I do have mask. And I probably won't wear it, but I have it. And let's see what else. Just blew my whole train of thought. Oh, well. Let me get to my jobs. I need to get on this stuff and get to work. Oh, my videos, yeah. And I did the video about the hydrophone. Oh, that reminds me. I need to check the hydrophone real quick this morning. Somebody suggested the problem with the hydrophone is maybe a boat near me was just playing a radio, and that's why I was picking that up in the water. It could be. It could be 2 of the boats around me had radios playing, and that's where I was picking that up. So I'm going to try it again this morning and see if I still get radio or whether it's a different station or what have you. I'm going to try that again this morning. So then I got to get to cutting these things. I really need to get that push pit disassembled and off the rail and disassembled so I can take all that over to Douglas's tomorrow because I want to get that fixed and back on just as quickly as possible. So, C. Lee, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. I'll give you Douglas's email address as soon as we get done here. So you can ship that stuff to, and man, that's just awesome. I really appreciate it. And anyhow, that's it for today, kids. We'll have more for you this evening during my normal live stream. So we'll see you then. Be good, be careful, kids. Take good care of one another, and we'll see you later. Bye.